I was recently tying at a show in Syracuse, New York, and I brought a couple of these with me. And this is what's called a Hatchmaster, but it's a Hatchmaster in the style of a Green Drake spinner. I haven't seen one of these before, and a lot of people were picking it up and saying, "Wow, look at this! Look at this!" And I didn't think it was that interesting until a lot of people were interested, and so maybe I should just tie it on the channel and I don't know, maybe someone will appreciate it and tie a few and go catch some fish with it. But it's like a light presentation coffin, and normally you don't really need a light presentation, at least from what I have fished. It's not, they're expecting a big on the water because of how big this thing is. It's the biggest fly we got out here in the Catskills, and I would assume pretty much everywhere it's probably the biggest. But hey, if you're on some real glassy water and you want a light presentation, the Hatchmaster Coffin is probably where you want to be. So let me show you how to do it. Hatchmaster, well, just so, a Hatchmaster is a single feather for the tail, body, and wing. And we do that with a mallard feather. And I already have this one sort of prepared here. So you can see this is going to become the tail. This becomes the body. And then you bring these up for the wing. Makes sense, right? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to tie on some thread. I use black thread. This is just a Giorgio Benici. That's a 12-0. Again, I never tie on right next to the eye. And this is a size 10 hook. Right near the barb. You don't want to go around the curve too much. This one I'm using here is a 2488. See that? You still need the gap, and you still need a little bit of flat here. But other than that, that's all you really need. And a curved hook is real good for an extended body fly. Now we take this little mallard feather here, and we get our scissors and we cut out the tip. And I would say that's too many. I'd say all you really need is 3 or 4 on either side. Now take your time, make sure you... Yeah, that's not bad right there. See that? Then there's a couple of ways to do this, to put this on. One is you can sort of lick your fingers and pull all these together. And sort of try and tie it in just like that. But kind of sometimes what ends up happening is that you don't get it real tight enough. You don't get it real tight enough. So another good way to do it, and this can be tough because it can twist on you, and if it twists on you a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. But you tie it in here, see that, towards the back, and you pull it. And hopefully, actually, sometimes it's better if you whip finish right here. Whip finish will just help it stop from sliding. And tie it on, I don't even know, 1/4 inch up. With 2 turns. Make sure it's on the top. And sort of, you can, if you hold both sides and sort of lift it up, you'll put some slack in the turns, and that'll help you pull it and tie it in good when you got the right length. There it is right there. That's all right. Now we're going to clip this out. This is the stem. And then we're going to make sure this doesn't twist. We're going to wrap all the way up. And then we're gonna split this just like we would a wood duck wing. So we hold one side, we do 2 turns back that way, make sure it's split evenly before you go any further. Then it's hard to see this, but I'm grabbing the back half and I'm doing 2 turns towards the front going the other way. And I make sure this thread dam is in good. If you ever see like a wood duck wing that's tilted really far forward like that, it's because the thread dam isn't big enough. So make sure you put in a good thread dam here. That'll keep it back. You can already see, look at that, how far back is. You can pull it forward though. And once that's in, we're going to lash the wings so that all the fibers try and stay together. So we're going to go 2 turns around. And then onto the hook. And then 2 turns around. Sometimes these really soft feathers can just bend and the thread can just slip off, so just take your time. There we go. Now we go back and we put a little dubbing. This is what I'm using, this rabbit here. Just a black rabbit. I have this little bodkin I bent the tip on. It makes it really easy to pull stuff out of a bag. It's got a little hook on it. So we're gonna put a little on the back here. There's some fibers. That came loose there. Just make sure we clip them off. Good. So, and we go up to right where we want to tie in the hackle, which is, I'm going to say it's right there. And all I did was just break it and slide that that dubbing down. The 2 hackles I'm going to tie in. One is a badger. And the other is a black. This badger isn't that long, so we're not going to get many turns in of this, but that's all right. There's white in the wing, so we turn this in. Now we turn this in with the good side facing us. And we get our black. You want it to be long. You want the fibers to be long. Now we'll tie this up, make sure it's tied in good, and then we'll go back and dub over it. Then we got our dubbing still on there, and now we're just going to go and dub this thorax a little bit. You can even put a little in between the wing. Maybe 2 turns. So 1, 2, and then end right in front. But leave a space there. Don't put dubbing in that spot. So let's bring the black through. And you're essentially just putting in as many turns as possible. And that usually requires a decent pair of Hackle pliers. You really want to go right to the end. And the reason you want to put in a ton of Hackles is that we want this thing to lay flat, so we got to take the bottom off of it. Now if it slips on you like it just did me, it slipped off and went to the eye, just go back and try and keep it back. You can always fold it back. It's not a big deal if you just feel like it's not going to go for you. Just tie it off and leave the tip, but fold everything back here. Make yourself a space so you can tie on the other hackle. I don't know if you saw, but I cut the tip and then bent it over. Makes things a little bit stronger if you bend that tip over. Now we're not going to get many turns out of this one. Hopefully we can get 2 behind and 2 in front. Let's see here. Yeah, we can get one more here. So all I did was put 2 turns in there. Lick my fingers, bring this up and back. And then I tie over. Try and catch all the fibers so nothing's going forward. And then this one, there's a lot of turns up there, so I'm going to put a little bit of head cement. Actually, I'll do it with a bodkin afterwards. So let's whip finish. I was going to put it on the thread, but I'll just wait. Alright, so before we do the head cement, let's just look at this. Now it looks pretty bushy, obviously, but make sure this is in focus. A lot of times I turn this thing over and it gets out of focus. So what we really want, excuse me, what we really want is it to be like this. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can trim. You can, I am going to trim a few back here that are kind of going all over the place. You can trim, or you can essentially glue them into place, which is what I'm going to do. And it's you don't use too much. It's just a tiny drop. Just very little bit, let it soak in. You don't want the weight. You just want to hold it up there. We still got this tip that we folded back, so we'll clip that out. And then put some head cement up here. Or you could have just taken the UV and put it on. I don't think it makes a difference. And that's it. So let me. Ooh, we're out of focus. Sorry about that. So let's see that. Yeah. Now a mallard feather is not like a wood duck. It's definitely different, but it's softer. I believe it's softer, and you can see the tips get a little bit more, I don't know, screwed up or something like that. But it's not bad. It's a very soft presentation fly, and it's a Hatchmaster is a well-known fly, but I don't think one's been done as a coffin. At least I don't think. But here it is. That's it. You want it flat right here. So something like that. It's tough to hold this thing here. There it is. So pretty flat. It's a big fly because the green drake spinner is a big fly. But it's going to leave a soft impression. So a big fly with soft impression. Alright. Hatchmaster Coffin. Thanks.